Bienvenidos a HOLI 425 con Fabiola Ochoa
y Francesca Cortés. En esta programación vamos a cubrir una serie de entrevistas hechas en el Colegio Whitman por nuestras reporteras Leslie Rodríguez y Devyani Gupta.
Las entrevistas son para conocer la opinión de varias personas sobre el aumento de los latinos en los Estados Unidos y cómo ha cambiado la identidad americana. Sin quitarles más tiempo, pasamos a la primera serie de entrevistas.
What does it mean to be an American?
To me, an American means being from anywhere in any of the Americas.
It's a hard question. I would say to be American, it means to feel some connection to living or growing up in the United States.
What does it mean to be American?
I would say to have a sense of patriotism towards your country and to live in the United States.
I think just living in the United States.
I don't know.
Good question. Being from anywhere in the Americas, in North or South America. But then I also very much identify with the idea of being an American as being someone who lives in the United States.
How do you feel about Puerto Rico becoming the 51st state of the United States?
To be honest, it's not something I've thought about very much. And I also don't know exactly how, don't know enough about it.
It's up to the Puerto Ricans.
Does it bother me?
Oh, also, if Puerto Rico became a state, then anybody on the island could vote.
I'm okay with it. I don't know that the rest of the country would be.
As a Canadian citizen, I'm indifferent.
I think they probably should become a state, or they should be granted more independence, because right now I feel like the U.S. is kind of, screwing over Puerto Rico in some ways, because it's kind of just in this limbo state.
How much, if anything, do you know about SB 1070?
I know nothing.
How much, if anything, do you know about SB 1070?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
I don't know anything about that. Sorry.
Do you know who Sheriff Joe Arpaio is?
What's the name again?
Joe Arpaio?
No, I don't.
Do you know who Sheriff Joe Arpaio is?
He's the sheriff in Arizona who is extremely outspoken on border control issues, I believe.
Noticias de última hora. Nos ha llegado un reportaje de último minuto sobre un personaje muy particular que está aterrorizando al campus de Whitman College. Este personaje es muy conocido como Frito Bandito.
Reportes nos dice que Frito Bandito está robando chips de maíz. Así es que si usted ve a Frito Bandito, esconda sus chips y llame a la seguridad de Whitman. Hemos recibido un video anónimo incriminando al conocido cartel de café colombiano, el cual se ha aprovechado de los estudiantes de Whitman que están en semanas finales, temporada donde el consumo ilegal de café aumenta numerosamente. Este semestre pasado, el café fue prohibido en el campus de Whitman a causa del aumento de sobredosis que han tenido varios estudiantes de Whitman.
Les advertimos que este video puede ser muy sorprendente. Hablando del café, ¿qué tienes en tu taza?
Nada. Sigamos con la programación y pasemos a la última serie de entrevistas.
How does the rise of Latinos shift your opinion about what it means to be American?
The First Nations people came or migrated here at some point. Everyone was a foreigner or a immigrant at some point, and that personally doesn't change my view. I think it's a cool thing, and Latinos have added so much to this country.
I mean, it's really the same as my first the first response I had.
How does the rise of Latinos shift your opinion about what it means to be American?
Yeah, so as long as I've been alive, I've conceived of the United States as a pretty diverse country, so having more Latinos, I think, is kind of something I've come to expect, and I think it's what makes our country really rich in terms of our culture and the diversity we have on a day-to-day basis.
I don't think I have anything to add. I agree.
I just remember a lot of news reports, especially on more conservative channels, saying that America isn't America anymore because now we have Latin immigrants. People are really afraid of having minorities actually climb up the social ladder and break the class ceiling. So they're trying to isolate them, making them the other.
Do you feel hyphenated racial labels such as Mexican American, African American, Asian American, Native American, etc. are meaningful and useful?
Do I feel those labels are meaningful and useful? I think it can be in some circumstances, but they can also be very harmful in others, I guess.
I think that they can be important in sort of ancestral identity, but I don't know if they're necessarily important for defining someone for defining someone's nationhood. So I think they're all American. It doesn't necessarily need to go much deeper than that.
Could be counterproductive in some ways. I guess I don't really have a strong opinion on them. I'm fine using them. I don't know if those groups of people like being called that. It's kind of giving them an unneeded label. If we're gonna call people African Americans or Mexican Americans, should everyone call me Italian American?
I think they have benefits and they have disadvantages at the same time. I think we can't ever pretend that everyone's the same. I think we are all Americans, but if people personally want to identify with a certain title, then I think we should have to respect that.
I'd say it's hard to speak on that from someone who doesn't really have a label, just as someone who would just describe himself as white.
So then what about Irish American, German American, French American, Polish American, Russian American, English American, etc.?
As an Irish American, to some extent, well, actually as an Irish Canadian, I just sort of feel like those terms are sort of becoming more obscure.
And how are those meaningful? Are those meaningful and useful?
I think they can be as well in some cases.
Or they want to identify as both Russian American, Irish American, because the same, they can take part of both cultures when they choose.
Being in America, we should all just, I think, fall under the same label.
There are a lot of intricacies, and I think the danger is instead of letting somebody label themselves and identify it how they want to identify, that we label them with these politically correct terms.
Yeah, I guess now that you bring that up, I realize that as someone of European ancestry, I could fit one of those labels. But maybe the reason I don't is because the people with those labels tend to have the same skin color. And so there might not be as much easily identifiable sense of unity with other people.
Ahora tenemos una presentación especial por la reportera Leslie Rodríguez, que está en la frontera. Pasamos a ti, Leslie.
Gracias, Fabiola y Francesca. Aquí estoy en la frontera reportando sobre unas nuevas noticias que han ocurrido hace recientemente. Mira, ahorita está un policía parando a un ilegal.
Ma'am, can you show me your license, registration, and proof of citizenship? Documentación. Are you an alien? Ma'am. Ma'am.
En otras noticias importantes.
Esta semana, en Amor Sin Fronteras.
Josefina María Ángel Labate, me equivoqué y lo siento.
No, Juan, equivocaste cuando te casaste con mi gemela.
Yo no sabía que ella no fue tú.
Rompiste mi corazón, te odio.
Pero te amo.
Te amo también.
Wow, esa escena estuvo maravillosa. Gracias a los televidentes por sintonizarse a esta subcadena HOLI 425. Nos vemos en el reportaje de mañana.
Súmale mambo pa' que mi gata prenda los motores.